Hey guys, I'm Michelle. I'm a mental health therapist in Seattle, Washington. The name of my practice is Next Chapter Counseling. So if you're new to my channel, that's who I am. And I'm here today to answer a question that I got from somebody. And this person asked me, how do I know when the time is right for my partner and my kids to meet? So this is a really tough topic that people struggle with when you have children and then you're in the dating world again with somebody new. How can you know when the timing is right to have those two worlds merge in a way, the world of your children and then the world that you're creating with this new partner, and how to have that go smoothly? So, in answering this question today, I'm going to say it up front. I don't believe in necessarily that there's a certain timing that's right. So some people might say, wait 6 months. Some people might say, wait a year or whatever. But I'm not going to put a timeline on it because I think that's going to be really unique to each relationship. But what I will say, what I'm going to go in depth with in this video, is that there are 3 things that I think need to happen before your kids and your partner meet each other. You have to be ready, your partner has to be ready, and your kids have to be ready. If any one of those 3 things are not in place, it's probably not going to go very well. So I'm going to run you through all 3 of those different components today, and I'm going to give you some questions to think about or to literally ask your partner or your kids so that you can make sure that all 3 of those things are in place before you have the two parties, I guess you could say, meet. So when it comes to your readiness, arguably this is what has to come first, is for you to feel ready. If you don't feel fully ready, even if your partner says they're ready, your kids are like, I want to meet so and so, you have to be ready first and foremost. So how can you know when you're ready? Well, the first thing to really think about is, like I mentioned a moment ago, these are going to be your worlds merging. So your world as a parent and your world with this new partner are going to come together. So you want to make sure that first and foremost, the world that you're establishing with this partner is something that you feel good about. You really want to make sure and assess and figure out, in whatever way feels right to you, if you think this person is someone you see yourself with long term. None of us have a future crystal ball, so to speak. We can't predict with 100% accuracy when a relationship is going to last or whether it isn't, but make sure that you're really going through and being honest with yourself and honest with your partner about what you're looking for. Ask your partner tough questions if you have them. Find out if this is someone that you can really see being in your life for a long time. That's really, really important. Because if you have any lingering doubts, or if you're in the mindset of like, oh, well, yeah, they're fun, but, I don't know if this is a long term relationship or not, don't bring your kids into that, no matter what age your kids are. Make sure that for yourself, you feel solid in your relationship with your partner. And take some time to really imagine what you think the merging of those two worlds would look like, what it would be like, how you see it going. Are there potential worries that you have about that process? Make sure that you talk about them with your partner if there are. So, those are some things that I recommend to make sure that you get yourself ready. Moving on to the second part, which is about your partner. So there's a couple questions that I really recommend you ask and talk about with your partner to assess their level of readiness. The first is to ask them if they've ever been in a relationship with someone before who had kids. You may be dating someone who's gone through this song and dance a few times in past relationships, and you can ask them how it's gone, what's been successful, what hasn't gone so well, what's felt good to them, what hasn't. That will give you a lot of information. If you are dating someone and they've never dated anybody with kids before, you both may need to go a little bit slower in this process because this is the first time they will be meeting a partner's children. This is the first time that they may be considering like a step parent role if your relationship lasts and pans out. So that's an important thing to know. If you haven't asked your partner already, make sure you ask, have you ever dated someone before who had kids? And find out some more information about how that was. So that's one question I recommend you ask to kind of gauge what their thoughts are on this and what their previous experience is. The second thing I recommend is that you ask them, what worries do they have about meeting your kids? And if they say, I'm not worried at all, don't take that for an answer, because that's simply probably not true. If someone's not nervous before meeting their partner's kids, or again, stepping into what could be a step parent role, they're kidding themselves and they're kidding you. There's going to be some worries and some fears because there's a lot of unknowns here. So really make sure to ask your partner, what are your biggest concerns when you think about meeting my kids? What are you worried about if we do stay together and we start building this life together? What are you worried about in terms of what your role might look like in our family? Ask these hard questions to get some answers from them. So, have they ever dated someone with kids before? And what are their worries? Those are two things I really recommend you ask. The other thing I recommend is that when it comes to assessing your partner's readiness, when you are like early in the dating process with people, meeting them for the first time, going on early dates, maybe you're dating around and, talking with a couple different people, please make it clear from the beginning that you have children. That really should be something that's said on the first date. You can, of course, go more in depth far later down the road with these other questions that I'm recommending you ask. But the first date, make it known that you have kids. Let that person know, because that may weed out some people right away who go, I'm not ready for that. Or it may give that person an opportunity to, sort of get this awareness very early on that they're not just getting involved in your life, they may down the line get involved in your kids' lives too. So let that be clear early, and that will also tell you a lot about how your partner reacts, or again, these potential people you're dating, when they hear that you have kids. But yeah, ask your partner those questions, see how ready they feel. Now, moving on to the last one, which is your kids' readiness. So another thing that I recommend, don't get me wrong, I see the rationale for why people do this, is sometimes when people start dating somebody, and again, wait till you're in like an exclusive relationship with someone and that you guys are an actual couple. This doesn't apply so much if you're, going on dates here and there, but if you've committed to someone and you consider yourselves a partnership, a couple, don't refer to that person as your friend to your kids. People do this a lot. They'll say, oh yeah, mommy went on a date with, my friend so-and-so again. No, let it be known that this is a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a partner, whatever term you feel comfortable using. Let your children know that from the beginning, because otherwise, down the line, if your children have been thinking for months that so-and-so over here is just a friend, well, then you have to have a conversation at some point of like, wait, they're not just a friend, we're actually dating. And sometimes your kids might feel a little blindsided by that, especially kids who are old enough to understand what it means to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Make sure that you're clear from the beginning. This is someone that you're romantically interested in and that you guys are a couple when you actually are. That's going to really help down the line when it comes to assessing your kids' readiness for meeting this partner that you have. So tell them from the beginning that this is a romantic partner. Let your kids know that they can ask you questions if they have them. And again, as is age appropriate, sprinkle in things here and there. After you've gone on a date, you can say, oh yeah, we went to the movies tonight, or we did this, or, pepper in little things here and there, so that your kids get to feel like they're knowing a little bit about this person, even if they haven't met them yet. I highly recommend when your kids feel comfortable and ready, start with phone calls or video chatting before meeting in person with this person that you're dating. But one of the things that I really want to emphasize and drive home here is that it's important to check in regularly with your kids. After you feel ready and your partner feels ready, then it's time to see if your kids feel ready. And they may not at first. They may say, nope, I don't want to meet so-and-so. And it's important to respect that, to ask them what their reasons are, to ask them what it would take for them to feel ready to meet them, or if there's anything you can do to help them feel more comfortable. But then let it go for a month or two and then check back in later. hey, I know a couple months ago I asked if you were ready to meet so and so, we'll call them still, to meet so and so. And, how are you feeling now? Do you want to now? Do you still not want to? Keep feeling it out, keep checking in. And the final thing that I'll recommend with kids that is super, super important is that have them feel involved in how this first meeting is going to go. Ask them what they think would be fun to do. Pick an activity that you know your kids enjoy, ideally something that your kids enjoy, you enjoy, and your partner will enjoy so that you'll all have a good time. But let your kid be in charge a little bit with the planning of what you guys are going to do when they actually meet your partner for the first time. Another thing that I recommend when it comes to first dates is to not do a first date that's dinner. Sometimes people are surprised by that, but I don't recommend it as a first date. Boy, can that be awkward. Pick an activity, pick something to do together, and I recommend this when it comes to kids meeting your partner. Going to dinner together might feel really weird, more weird than you might anticipate it being, because all you can do is eat and talk. But pick a fun activity that's, again, age appropriate for your kids, whether it's like going to the zoo or going bowling, or pick something that you guys can all enjoy so that it's not just focused on like, oh, we have to talk and we have to get to know each other through conversing. Make it something fun and let your kids have a say in that so that when you guys do meet, it might feel a little less awkward for the first time. So I packed a lot of information into this video today, but basically, long and short of it, make sure you're ready, make sure your partner's ready, and make sure your kids are ready. If all of those things are not in place, don't proceed forward with having everybody meet. Really wait until everyone's ready and keep checking back in with your kids. Also keep checking back in with your partner. Once you're ready, make sure that you're checking in regularly with others to see where they're at and to see if they're getting on board. And hopefully as time goes by, even if they're not ready on the same timeline that you are, hopefully everybody will get ready pretty soon. All right, hope that helps. If you have a question for me, email it to me at nextchapter.michelle@gmail.com. Thank you, everybody. Bye.